Good morning, students. Today we are going to talk about a new topic, that is drought. That is from the MSc EVS semester 3 paper 4, that is industrial hygiene and chemical safety, and the unit 3, that is disaster management and risk assessment. So today's our topic is drought. Coming up to the definition of drought is a damage of ground usually caused by the dry weather. So the proper definition is not this way. The proper definition is a drought is a period of time when an area experiences below normal precipitation. Drought इज अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, एक ऐसा ड्यूरेशन होता है व्हेन एन एरिया, जब एक एरिया एक और रीजन हम बोल सकते हैं दैट एक्सपीरियंस, मतलब वहाँ पे अपेक्षा से भी कम पानी का प्रिसिपिटेशन या रेनफॉल होता है. सो नॉर्मली दिस ड्रॉट इज कॉज्ड बाय द लैक ऑफ द एडिक्वेट प्रिसिपिटेशन, मतलब वहाँ पे रेनफॉल खूब कम होता है. आइदर द रेन, either in the form of rain or in the form of snow, or can cause reduced soil moisture. और इसके कारण क्या होता है? So the area which receives the lowest rainfall or receives low rainfall, and this rainfall, because of the less rainfall, what you can see is that the soil they used to reduce the moisture, मतलब they used to lose the moisture of the ground, and they becomes dry. That's why we used to say that drought is nothing but dryness of the ground. So the drought is caused by not only the lack of precipitation and high temperature, but by overuse and overpopulation. So you can say that the drought can be caused naturally also as well as the man-made. So you can say that drought is both natural as well as the man-made. So what are the different causes of the drought? So there are 5 natural and human causes of the drought. So you can say that somewhere human beings are responsible for the condition like drought or disaster like drought. So what are the different causes? So one of the causes is land and water temperature. You know that in case of the drought, as the overall temperature increases, जैसे ही टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज होता है, मोर एंड मोर वाटर गेट evaporates and severe weather condition results. So the land get hot and hotter. So as the temperature increases, more amount of the water get evaporated, and because of this the drought takes place. Next is air circulation and weather pattern. So it is one of the again reason for the drought, because all the water we ever had, हमारे पास जितना भी है, either in the air or air form or moisture form, that used to get exhausted. Next is the soil moisture level. So it is also one of the contribution to the drought. When the soil moisture is depleted, there is less evaporation of the water to create clouds. So the water which is stored in the soil, that is also got exhausted because of the high temperature, and the water which is available to the plant is not at all present. One of the main important drought causes is nothing but the excessive of irrigation. This is an excellent example of human which are causing the drought. So drought can also be a supply and demand of water issues. So water related जितना भी issues है, वो भी एक प्रकार का एक reason है for the drought. Next is if the timing of the water does not match the agriculture season, you may have too much water when you don't need it and too little when you do need it. मतलब ये कि drought, it is not like that कि in a season when you require water, that times if you'll get the water for the agriculture, then we used to say that it's a normal conditions, or that is your production is highest considered. But when the water is not required and that time the area is flooded, then we used to say that the drought has taken place. So if the timing of water doesn't match with the agriculture season, मतलब agriculture season के अनुसार अगर timing match नहीं होता है, that condition is also said to be the drought. So the proper storage and collection of water is a key to counter balancing this cycle. इसके के लिए हमें क्या करना है, ड्रॉट एटलीस्ट अकर ना करे या लेस ड्रॉट हो, ये करने के लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, तो हमें प्रॉपर स्टोरेज करना पड़ेगा. कलेक्शन ऑफ वाटर जो है, दिस इज द मेन की फॉर बैलेंसिंग दिस साइकिल एंड क्लियरली in the scope of human management. So in order to manage the drought, we have to properly store and collect the water. Next, coming up to the effects of the drought. So drought can also affect people's health and safety. How? If the drought occurs, normally this society has to face the, or it includes the anxiety of the human being or the depression because of the economic losses. अगर कोई भी प्रकार का नुकसान हो जाता है फार्मर्स के लिए, तो एक प्रकार का ये क्या है, हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम है to the human beings. Even because of the shortage of the food, there will be conflicts होते हैं. When there is not enough water, reduced income, fewer recreational activity, etc., etc. So it is said that drought, it is a very important disaster which can affect the people health and safety. Both the thing is affected by means of the drought, because this drought impact on the society by different ways. The drought prone area, normally the area which you know that in our state like India, almost quarter of the land, Indian lands, they are faced to the, or they are prone to the drought. तो आप बोल सकते हैं कि 1/4 part of the land of India, they are prone to the drought, and it seems that these areas, they used to receive less than 60 centimeter of rainfall. So 60 centimeter. So you can say that this area, they used to receive 60 centimeter of the rainfall annually, and they are most drought prone area. So here you can find out few example, or the red patches where these regions are located, and they are facing the drought. The peoples of this region, they are facing the drought. So here you can find out part of the Rajasthan, as well as certain part of the Maharashtra, certain part of the Andhra Pradesh, certain part of the Karnataka, certain part of the south, certain part of the West Bengal, Orissa, certain part of Bihar. These are the certain parts which are prone to the drought. So the drought prone states in India, like in case of north, you can find out certain states like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, etc. So these are the regions, normally they does not receive the rainfall, but they receive the snow, and the snow is almost very low in temperature, which is, and this low, because of the low temperature, this snow is not available to the plant because they are almost in the frozen condition. So this is also one of the example of the drought, where, what do you mean by drought? Drought is a dryness of the ground. The ground, it remains dry because of the inavailability of the water or scarcity of the water. So here they are the drought region where the water is available, but it is not available in the form of water, but they are available in the form of snow, which is of no use. Next is coming up to the west part of the India. It normally faced by Rajasthan, Gujarat, MP and the Maharashtra. And in case of Maharashtra, we can just beyond the Western Ghat we can find out certain places, Buldana, Akola, etc. are the places where they are normally facing the drought every year. Now coming up to the south, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, AP, etc. These are the certain states. On coming up to the east, we can find out Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Jharkhand and West Bengals. So these are the few regions, or you can say that throughout India, quarter of the land they are prone to the drought. नेक्स्ट कमिंग अप टू द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस ऑफ द ड्रॉट इंक्लूड्स, मतलब अगर ड्रॉट टेक्स प्लेस करता है तो उसके क्या क्या नतीजा हो सकता है या फिर कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हो सकते हैं. सो डिमिनिश क्रॉप ग्रोथ, पहला तो क्या होगा, क्रॉप का तो यील्ड ही नहीं होगा या प्रोडक्शन नहीं होगा. इसके कारण क्या हो जाएगा, प्रोडक्शन इज रिड्यूस्ड और इट इज ऑलमोस्ट negligible. Next, dust balls you can observe. At the same time, dust storms, they are very common. Next, famine. Famine means dushkal in Marathi. So due to the famine, or you can say that famine will takes place or dushkal will takes place due to the lack of water. पानी नहीं होगा तो irrigation नहीं होगा, irrigation नहीं होगा तो crop का yield नहीं होगा, crop का yield नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा, दुष्काल होगा. Next is habitat damage, affecting both terrestrial as well the aquatic wildlife. दोनों ही habitat का damage takes place करेंगे. Next is hunger will takes place. Next malnutrition takes place होगा. क्यों, क्योंकि अगर फूड ही नहीं है तो फूड एक प्रॉपर डाइट में नहीं जाएगा और इसके कारण क्या होगा, malnutrition will takes place. Mass migration, people they used to migrate from one place to another because of the shortage of the food. Social unrest होगा, मतलब एनेक्सिटी, डिप्रेशन एक्सेट्रा रिलेटेड हेल्थ रिलेटेड इफेक्ट्स होंगे. वॉर ओवर द नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस होंगे, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होंगे इंक्लूडिंग वाटर एंड फूड एंड वाटर रिलेटेड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स अराइज होंगे, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. नेक्स्ट इज वाइल्ड फायर आर मोर कॉमन ड्यूरिंग द टाइम्स ऑफ ड्रॉट, और ड्रॉट के समय फॉरेस्ट में फायर्स टेक्स प्लेस करता है, दैट इज सेड टू बी दी वाइल्ड फायर. सो ये नॉर्मली ड्रॉट कंडीशन में ही टेक्स प्लेस करता है. इवन द डेथ ऑफ द पीपल, नॉट ओनली द डेथ ऑफ द एनिमल्स, forest animal or wild animals takes place, but somewhere the peoples who are living just besides the forest, this death of these people also takes place. And exposure and oxidation of the acid sulfate soils due to the falling surface and ground water level. यहाँ पे क्या होता है, वाटर ग्राउंड वाटर का जो लेवल, ओवर यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ दी वाटर होने के कारण क्या होता है, ग्राउंड वाटर का लेवल खूब ही रिड्यूस हो जाता है, ये फॉल हो जाता है. So these are the consequences. Now coming up to the strategies for drought protection या फिर mitigation. What are the different type of mitigation measures, preventive measures? So we have to either make use of dams. So many dams and their associated reservoirs supply additional water in this time of ड्रॉट के टाइम में डैम्स क्या करती है, थ्रू द डैम्स वी कैन मेक द सप्लाई ऑफ इरिगेशन और मेक इट एज अ रिजर्वॉयर, और ये रिजर्वॉयर के पानी यूटिलाइज करना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट इज दैट desalination of sea water for irrigation and consumption. मतलब ऐसा कहा गया है कि पानी अगर कम पड़े तो हम क्या करते हैं, सी वाटर का पानी लेके उसमें से सलाइन निकाल करके, सॉल्ट निकाल कर फिर उसको इरिगेशन के लिए यूज़ करना चाहिए. बट दिस इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी वेरी कॉस्टली, बट वी कैन accept one of these strategies. Next, drought monitoring. So this is the one thing which we can do it or we can consider in mind for the mitigation measures, that is continuous observation of the rainfall. rainfall जो हो रहा है उसका continuous हर साल का observation होना चाहिए, and comparison with the current usage level, मतलब हमारा use कितना है उसके अनुसार कितना rainfall हुआ है और हर साल का कितना रेनफॉल है. विथ दिस डेटा विल हेल्प यू टू प्रिवेंट मैन मेड ड्रॉट. मतलब ये जो डेटास हमारे पास रहेंगे, ये डेटा क्या करेंगे कि हमें मैन मेड जो ड्रॉट है उसे कुठेतरी कहीं तो प्रिवेंट करेंगे. केयरफुली नेक्स्ट वन मोर थिंग वन कैन बी डन, दैट इज केयरफुल मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ द मॉइस्चर लेवल. How this moisture level can be monitored? This can by means of doing this can also help predict increase the rise of the wildfire. So if the careful monitoring of the moisture level can be done, that will predict the increased risk of the wildfires. So the amount of moisture, what was the amount of moisture during the wildfires? So if this data is recorded, then we can easily maintain the drought or mitigation measures that can be taken for the drought. So first one, side by side alternative method, that is dams. Dams are the alternative for the supply of the water. So instead of using the groundwater, one can use the dam water. Next is desalination. Desalination means what? We have to make utilization of sea water as a source of the water. Next, drought monitoring. So drought monitoring, that is rainfall monitoring can be done, as well as the monitoring of the moisture level of the soil can also be done. So these are the strategies which are used for the drought protection. Next can be land use. So carefully planned crop rotation can help to minimize the erosion. अगर हम carefully plan करने के बाद crop rotation की टेक्निक को यूज़ करें तो उससे क्या होगा? Soil erosion कम होगा. नेक्स्ट इज आउटडोर वाटर यूज रिस्ट्रिक्शन. जब हम आउटडोर वाटर में यूज करते हैं तो देयर वी हैव टू मेंटेन सर्टेन रेस्ट्रिक्शन. कौन कौन से रेस्ट्रिक्शन होंगे? तो रेगुलेटिंग, दिस कैन बी अचीव्ड बाय मीन्स ऑफ रेगुलेटिंग द यूज ऑफ स्प्रिंकलर्स फॉर द आउटडोर प्लांट्स. सो हियर how we can maintain by means of what outdoor water use restriction. This can be gained by means of using the sprinklers. Next, coming up to the next point, that is rainwater harvesting. So you know that rainwater harvesting is nothing but it is a collection and storage of rainwater from the roofs. हम क्या करते हैं? roofs पे and other sources से हम catchment area से क्या करते हैं? पानी को harvest करते हैं और उसके बाद उसका utilization करते हैं. Next is recycled water. So the water what we have already stored over here, that is rainwater harvesting में जितना भी पानी हमने स्टोर किया है, ये सब पानी को हम क्या कर सकते हैं? ट्रीट कर सकते हैं और ट्रीट करने के बाद प्योरीफाई कर सकते हैं और देन इट कैन बी रीयूज्ड. नेक्स्ट वन मोर स्ट्रेटेजी, दैट इज द लास्ट स्ट्रेटेजी, दैट इज transvasement. So transvasement is nothing but the building of canals or the interbasin transfer of river water. So in order to utilize the surface water from the river, we have to build certain canals or interbasins for the transfer of river water. So these are the different strategies we must know. So in case of drought, you have to write all that. What are the drought prone areas? What are the different drought prone areas? Next, what are the consequences? What are the effects of the drought? What are the strategies that can be used for the mitigation or protection or mitigation measures? Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow with a new topic.